What's up, my family? It's your fun guy, Flag Jackson's, coming at you again with another Legend of Mushroom video. Today, we're talking about the one thing everybody's asking about constantly in the chat. What pals / skills should I use? And today, I'm here to tell you that auto-equip is your worst enemy when it comes to progression in the game. All it's going to do is stack the highest quality level pal that may not have anything to do with what you're doing in the game. So if you're getting to a point where you can't progress, you're barely not killing him before the timer runs out, or you're just completely getting dominated in the game by the slime, you know what I'm talking about, that big blue slime ball that always comes and just two-shots you, this video is gonna be your savior. But first, I want you to go ahead and hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and go ahead and turn on those notifications for all the new up-to-date Legend of Mushroom content. First things first, and this is a common misconception. I don't know why it's a common misconception, because it says it right in the game. Number 2, deploying pals can provide on-field effects. The effects of the pals of the same race do not stack. The highest quality effect is applied. That means when you come over here and if you have one Hydro Sprite equipped, equipping another one will not stack that 10%. You will automatically just get the 20% from this, and it'll just be wasted. Another common misconception that I see a lot of people making mistakes with is they are only equipping one sprite. So there's a difference between the two sprites. There is this sprite, and then you have your Hydro Sprite. These do in fact stack. They are not exclusive to the same race. One is a Hydro Sprite, one is a Sprite. And also, respectively, the Snow Sprite. That stacks as well. So you can very well have all three of these on your team, and these do in fact stack. Now let's get into it with the first person. The first person came up in the chat and they said they were stuck. They were having troubles getting past a boss. The timer was running out and they weren't doing enough damage. So I asked them to go ahead and put a screenshot of their pal on the screen. If you don't know how to do that, if you're trying to get suggestions in your server, click on this at the top right, and then you can share any one of these setups that you have into the chat with them. This is what they had. They had the dragon, the orange dragon, the mecha dragon, a panda, a deer, and a cat. So because this person was progressing slowly in damage, they had a deer, the panda, and the mecha dragon, which weren't really helping them to their full potential. So I told them to switch out the mecha for a Hydro Sprite, their panda with a chicken, and their deer with a sprite. They came back a couple of seconds later and they said, killed it. Thank you so much. Boom. One down. Now the next person that needed some help came up. This guy was running the cactus, the owl, the mecha dragon again, a Hydro Sprite, and a regular sprite. So the Hydro Sprite and the regular sprite were dead on with this. The cactus was also a good choice. Where they were lacking was their owl and mecha dragon. For some reason the game thinks that the owl and mecha dragon is a good fit in here, even though it gives you a little bit more of power. It still isn't good for what you're doing. So I had them replace the owl with a cat and the mecha dragon with a chicken, and even though these were a tier lower in the grades, it still was able to progress them way further. They came back and they said they progressed 5, 6, 7, 8 levels further until they got to another boss, which indeed you will need to change up, and I'll go over that in a second with you here on my game. But this is just an example of how you can change things up, not even skills, but just pals, and progress further. Now these, again, this is all for progression. This has nothing to do with PvP. This has nothing to do with clan bosses or battles or anything like that. This is strictly for progression. If you want more info on PvPing and clan bossing, make sure you're liking and subscribing and turning on the notifications, because I will be putting out those later. This is just to help you if you're looking to progress, because I'm sure some of you are really upset at being stuck at the same place for a half an hour and not understanding kind of what is going on. Quick, you're assuming the game is giving you the best pals that you have. It's not necessarily true. So that being said, let's get over here. I will show you my setups, what I use, and we'll get into a couple of boss fights and kind of demonstrate what's going on. So as you can see here, I have a battle lined up to where I'm not able to defeat the boss. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go to my skills. They're set up for my survival right now. We're going to go ahead and go with the quick picks. This is the classes that the game wants to have me equip. Go to quick equip. These are the ones that it's going to suggest. Next, we're going to go to my pals. We're going to switch this up to my quick pick. We're going to swap that out right there. We're going to go ahead and quick equip, and that's what it's going to do. It's going to have a chicken, a cactus, a cat, the Hydro Sprite, and an owl. We're going to go ahead and we're going to fight this boss, and we're going to see what happens. Right now, it's the Egyptian goddess, we'll call her. So as you can see here, I'm not quite surviving. She is getting way too much damage in, and it is just killing me. And if I was to survive, I would still run out of time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go back. And the reason why this isn't the best setup is because we have an owl. An owl gives us attack speed, but there is a way better one for that, and that would be the Sprite. The Sprite lets our skill damage do another 40% damage. So we'll just change this one thing, and we'll see how much farther we can get in it. What we have equipped so far is our chicken. Our chicken gives us basic attack damage 30%. The cactus, every 3 basic attacks deals an extra 40% damage. There is a little wiggle room in which one you can use. Some people like to use the cactus. Some other people like to use the dragon. So you can definitely alternate between the dragon and the cactus, this little orange dragon here, and you can definitely see how those fit for you. Next up is our cat. Our cat is super effective. I suggest using the cat in every instance of the game when you're progressing. After using active skill, detonates on enemies dealing 200% damage. Super effective. Next up is going to be the Hydro Sprite. The Hydro Sprite has active skill energy regen by 20%. This is going to reduce the cooldowns on your skills so that you can cast them faster. And then of course the Sprite, which gives our 40% increase in damage. So let's go ahead and go out here. We'll challenge her again just by changing up these, not even changing up our defense. We'll just change up a little bit of damage by adding the Sprite there and seeing how that does. Still not quite there. We're still dying. So that at this point, we're going to go over to our skills. Our skills are set up for the quick equip. I'm going to change those over. I'm going to use my damage skills that I have here because I want to see what doing more damage will look like. So we're going to put these in here. It changes them up just a little bit. It replaces the durian bomb with the slime bomb and increases your pal's damage. So we'll put this in, and now we'll challenge him again and see where that goes. As you can see, we're dying again. Once again, we're getting really low here. It's not going to work out for us. So what we need to do is we need to go to our skills that are going to help us survive in the long run. For that, you can have any one of these higher end skills that you have. I replaced this one with the Shroom Shield, and I also added the Nature's Renewal. Actually, we're going to use this one. That's going to increase our damage. So we'll save that. This is our survivability. We're going to go ahead and we're going to challenge her again. And this time we're going to see what we do. As you can see, the shield goes out. It's keeping us from taking damage. And also we have that renewal that's coming in. You can also manual it to when your shield goes down, you can cast your renewal. So it's not stacking heals on top of an already healthy body. As you can see, she's going down a lot faster. She's under 50% health. So she's going to take more damage. And we might be able to squeeze out. Yes, we squeezed out a victory this time. So it's a lot of playing around to find out what you need to do and what you need to change in order to get that. As you could see, we barely didn't even get her down to 50% before. Then when we changed up a lot of our stuff, we were able to beat it. Yeah, squeezing kind of by. And that's pretty much all you need to do is just squeeze by on those levels to be able to progress, get some more lamps, and get better gear. Also, one thing that I want to talk about next is when you run into the bosses that are killing you, bosses that are just simply annihilating you, like the big slime. When he comes in, he jumps on you 3 times and you're dead. These are the pals you're going to want to use. You're going to want to use the Snow Sprite. That's going to reduce his attack speed by 12%. So that'll make it so that his attacks aren't coming in as fast. Next up, you're going to want to use the deer. You'll be able to survive a couple more hits. And the most important one that you're going to want to use, you probably want to swap out either your, I would say swap out your Sprite for a snail. So your snail is going to reduce the enemy's movement speed by a percentage, depending on which one you have. So this is going to reduce his movement speed by 35%. So it's going to take this snail a lot longer to get to me. When I run into the slime boss, I will use a bunch of defensive survival pals and then very, very high damage skills so that I do a lot of damage before he gets to me, and then I can beat the boss that way. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your continued support. And as always, keep on growing.